Maximus Analysis here for June 16th, 2016, and another wild one. Again, we want to see what they do. We have this level that we put up yesterday. Okay, they held it. Want to see what the follow through looks like. Now, the follow through, I believe, is very, very critical because, again, you don't want a lower high here. Okay, it's just something that you just don't want to have. You don't want to have it come up to this 2100 and really stall out and then come retest this area. They're holding this line of sand, which is basically the level that they've tapped one, two. This is the third time. Well, actually, probably one, two, three. This is the fourth time. So, want to see how much they're going to have in the tank going into tomorrow for follow through. Also, really. It's been a crazy day. I mean, again, it's just something that I posted this and I'm going to share it with you. And I usually, again, on Twitter, I posted this message right here. And this is 6 hours ago, so you can see it's time stamped. And you could also see this is where I put my levels. Okay, the levels that it basically stopped at and stopped, if you look at the price here, you see it went around it. But it's all about the close today for me. We have plenty of day left, so I'm not going to get overly bearish at all, only 45 minutes into the session. And so said, so done. It was an epic squeeze off that level, and we really want to see how this is playing out and want to see them get above this high, and especially above this 2104, because then this would be something, if it came down here, it would be something like almost like a head and shoulders setting up on the daily. Again, we'll look and see where they close. Now going to the weekly time frame, again, they're holding these levels and it's high volume, so we want to see where they're going to close and what they're going to do for this week. And I don't know who they're going to crush. Going back to the daily, they've already crushed the puts, and if they basically do an indecision small body candle tomorrow, it would be such a dirty thing to basically crush the calls that are holding overnight as well. But again, with those weekly options, it make things very difficult sometimes on a Friday to see where they're quote unquote going to pin it at. Looking at the NQ, again, we see the same type of deal, holding this 200-day moving average. Want to see what, they're still holding this triangle. So again, we're trying to prepare for the worst and prepare for the best so that we're not surprised either way. So holding this level and getting back above the 4,500 is something we want to see. And again, another thing that we got to see the type of volume they have over the next 2-3 days, trading days. So to see how it's going to come up and if it's going to really drop off and then give another sell signal below that. So the trend is definitely still higher lows currently, but the line of sand you can see is definitely defined by the 4,300 level. YM gave another turnaround right at the level that we've been speaking about, and I wish these levels weren't still relevant, but they are, and we will still be talking about them so that we don't get surprised by anything. Now, the pop-up we want to see get above this level with some volume, and it might not all come tomorrow, but we want to see how the volume looks. Again, it might start with high volume, it usually ends with high volume if you look at things. And again, that is just something that's not a steadfast rule, but something to look at on the start. And this never stopped. This is a historic move right here. But again, we want to see if there's going to be follow through. And we definitely don't want to see on all of the indexes that I talked about, we don't want to see a gap down for tomorrow. That means that if they gap down tomorrow, that means that we had almost like a capitulation on an intraday time frame, and they're still going to be weak. So we want to really see what this close looks like in the overnight session. Crude is down $2. So again, where's the correlation between the two is what I ask, especially for a day like today. Again, I believe that again, if you look at the year, you might say yes, but again, starting from around June 2014, crude has been in a downtrend. And again, they had a great move off of the lows of 26, which again, we've been speaking about. This is not the continuous contract, so you don't see it. This is the end contract. But we still are seeing that we want to see if they're going to come test this 200-day. And if they come back up to the 50 and give a lower high, that's something that we really want to take heed to. Well, something I also want to look at is actually gold gave a pretty good sell signal today. So we're going to also look at what gold is going to do, because a lot of people are jumping on the bandwagon of gold after such an epic move. And again, I'm not saying that's going to break down, but you have gold that should, we want to layer back above, and you can see it's just been turning sideways, but there's been a lot of volume. And you also have the TLT, which is, oops, sorry, wrong symbol, TLT. You also have that's looking like it's going to be setting up for at least a pullback into this 133 range. So continue to watch that. Don't chase. Okay, let's look at some equity names, and you could start off with saying, okay, Google down $8, but holding. Again, it's broken this line a little bit, but still couldn't get back over the 200-day, and you have your hammer formation on high volume, which is typically is something that 2016 has not really given us, but that should give you some type of follow through going in. But you can see that it's been really churning sideways, higher lows, but churning sideways. So we'll continue to see, and again, we don't want to gap down below this as well. You have Tesla, excuse me, Tesla, that you have just sideways again. Gave a reversal today, which it was in line with what the markets did, but it's still in a weak position if you then start looking at the weekly, because a lot of these names on the weekly are given indecision days, so we have to see where they go. If we go back to Google, you can see this is just a pretty bad pattern. Like it's been holding these highs, but it's just been a really hard trade to take or to get a trade. Again, respecting higher lows, but again, want to see if they're going to retest the 700 level. But the weekly time frame is not such a good setup for this. Going to Priceline. Priceline had a huge move today, being that it was up within the first half an hour. First 15 minutes, I think, was up 23, goes to negative, then closes up, what, 19, 18? That's almost 50 points movement within one day. So again, we really want to see where this one moves, and they don't want to come test that 2099 or 1300 level again. I have some stuff that was requested from a subscriber. So let's look at that quickly. It was TZA and TZA, and we can see that their line in the sand for TZA is the 3383 level. Okay, and it's right down here. That's where you don't want to see them test again, but this is at all-time lows. So if you look at the weekly time frame, you could see that again they have a little hammer, I believe, on the weekly. Yeah, and you want to see some type of follow through, but again, the volatility will definitely tell you what's going on. Now, also had SPXU, which is the ultra pure short, and basically the same thing between the two. You want to see these lows hold, and you want to see the 2567 level not closed a couple times on the weekly time frame. So we'll continue to watch, and again, it's 2016 is the year of the craziness. Worst 10-day start, best rally in the last 90 years from February. Let's see if they still got more gas in the tank. Take care.